Hi, I haven't been around for a while. I've been busy. It's been really hectic. I celebrated my birthday, one of the milestone birthdays. Had a lovely weekend in London. Called the Mousetrap, which I'd never seen before. Afternoon tea in the K West Hotel and Spa, which was fantastic. Food was amazing and all sort of retro and glam rock and brilliant. Kiefer Sutherland was even there. So I can say that I passed him in the doorway. He was coming in as I was going out. So that was my brush with fame. And we also went to see A Curious Incident of a Dog in Nighttime, which was super. Having a taught drama in the past, it was lovely to see the physical element of theatre. There was very few props, and it was all physical theatre, which is amazing. I used to love teaching that to the kids when I was in my teaching years. But anyway, that was last weekend. This weekend, I have been so busy trying to get the new book on Kindle, and it is there. It's taken forever. This is one of the things. Kindle is wonderful for opening up marketplaces and letting people see books for sort of minimum prices, and it gives an author freedom to put on books with sort of minimum expense. But oh, the hoops you have to jump through, the formatting to get it accepted. And oh, I started around 12 o'clock yesterday, and it is now nearly 2 o'clock, and I have just finished. The book is on Kindle and it is on Smashwords, and both are formatting, so they will be live very, very soon. So what I thought I'd do was give you a taster. The new book is called Beauty Sleep. I'm not telling you what the nursery rhyme is. You have to read it for yourself. And the blurb on the back, Mike has got two mysteries to solve this time. Anybody who read the last book will know that there's a mysterious blob that is seen on the riverbank, and Mike still has to solve who or what or she, who or what the blob is. But more importantly and seriously, girls are going missing. Six formers from the local academy are going missing, and Mike has to solve this. I mean, are they just disappearing? Is there a serial killer at large? So that is the crime that the main focus of the book. The blob is a nice, amusing interlude. You get characters that have appeared in previous books come into this one, and one of the characters is a lass called Jenny Wallace. And if you remember, anybody who's read the first book, The Woolly Murders, will know that back then she gave me, when she was a child, a primary school girl, she gave Mike one of the clues that helped solve the murder. And now she's a teenager herself. She's very involved in this new book. So, the prologue. Jenny Wallace watched the second hand of her Star Wars alarm going round and round like the thoughts in her head. 4 o'clock. She had been clock watching since just after midnight. Her mother had been waiting up there when she had arrived home. Jenny had wanted to talk to her then, but the argument that had erupted over her failure to be home on time, again, had made that impossible. She knew her mother was wound up tight like a spring at the moment. Any slight misdemeanour could cause her to unravel dramatically. Jenny understood this. She wasn't stupid. Nana's illness was affecting her too. It wasn't easy for her mum to go to the hospital every day just to watch her own mother slowly slipping away. But did she really have to take her anger out on her every time? Couldn't they just hug each other instead? However, Jenny also knew that this time she definitely was in the wrong, so maybe it was wiser to stay quiet. A second argument about her decision to cut across the cemetery at night when she had been expressly forbidden to do so was best avoided. No, it was better for her to deal with this in her own way. After all, she wasn't a child anymore. She was nearly 14. The cemetery was as familiar to Jenny as her own yard. She and her friends had always played there in school holidays. It was a fun place to be, but not so much when it got dark. It wasn't that Jenny was scared of ghosts or things that go bump in the night. It was more to do with the gangs of lads that would gather there at night with their cans of lager and their funny cigarettes. But when she was running late, it was still the quickest way back to the farm, especially as she knew where the lads usually met, so it was easy to avoid them. Therefore, it had been a shock when she had heard rustlings and muffled groans. With her heart thudding in her chest, she had dropped she had dropped to her knees and crept slowly forward, trying to crawl away from the noises to avoid being seen. When everything had gone silent, Jenny had found herself confused. Which way should she go? There'd be no sounds to guide her any more. Making up her mind, she had edged forward, keeping low beside a stone tomb. She had just reached its edge when a hand had smacked down in front of her face, leaving Jenny too shocked to even scream. She had frozen, watching the fingers clenching and unclenching. There seemed to be something desperate about the action. Curiosity had eventually conquered Jenny's fear, and she had inched forward until her nose was past the tomb, and she had found herself looking into the eyes of a girl she recognised from school. Jenny hadn't been able to see anything except her eyes, but as the noises started again, she heard a man grunting like a pig. The girl's eyes had held onto her own, and Jenny had been surprised to see laughter with them. The shock when she had realised what was going on in the darkness had brought a wave of embarrassment crushing over her. She had scurried away as fast as she had been able. Turning over, Jenny looked at the clock again. 4:10. She closed her eyes and hoped for sleep. So that's the prologue. So I'll leave you with that little taster. And if you fancy the book, it's called Beauty Sleep. It's out now. And it's the 15th Mike Malone. So take care.